What's up, guys? Happy Monday. Hope you had a blessed weekend. Okay, so let's kick this Monday off. Judge Hippler promised transparency, and he delivered. Things are really heating up in the Koberger case. Explosive allegations of prosecutorial misconduct and withholding exculpatory evidence in a blistering affidavit naming names from the defense cellular experts. Cy Ray goes full throttle, scorched earth. So what is going on in the Koberger case? And what's behind this intense and provocative affidavit? So let's really dig into this cell intel, and more specifically, these timing advance records. And what is going on here? I'm going to try to lay it all out for you in a simple format so we have a clear understanding, because this cell intel is going to be front and center in that Boise courtroom in August. So let's get into it. To properly assess this topic, let's examine three critical pieces of intel and verbiage, which I consider to be the essential building blocks for this entire segment. First up, with any cellular phone, whether you have AT&T, Verizon, etc., your activity creates cellular records. Who you calling, who you texting, and on and on. All of this creates a daily digital log. But for the intents and purposes of this case, we are going to be laser focused on location. Where's Brian's phone at very specific times? It's as simple as that. So there's all this cell data out there on cell data records. And it is the job of the cellular experts from both sides to map it all out and make some sense of it. For the intents and purposes of this segment, I really want to explore these timing advance records because we really haven't talked about them much. Now with all the buzz surrounding Cy's affidavit, they've obviously become a hot topic, so it's a great time to talk about them. They may become an issue, they might not, but again, no time like the present. So now we've identified these timing advance records, and why are they such a hot topic? And why is Cy so seemingly passionate about this intel? Why? Because they are critical to the very centerpiece of Brian's defense, the alibi defense. From the jump, Brian has never wavered and has always maintained his innocence. And in sworn legal filings, he has repeatedly stated he wasn't even in Moscow on November 13th, and cell data will corroborate his alibi. So what sets these timing advance records apart? According to Cy Ray, AT&T timing data is some of the most accurate data out there. It can give you much better detail than traditional cell tower location data and can actually pinpoint the location of a cellular device. So you might be thinking, wow, this sounds pretty promising for Brian's alibi. Well, this is where it gets kind of spicy. So I'm just going to be straight with you, as I always am. I'm telling you, there's something in these timing advance records they don't want Cy Ray to see, and they certainly don't want any of the jurors to hear about it. We know for a fact that the FBI sent a direct request to AT&T for Mr. Koberger's timing advance report in December 2022. So FBI Balance got the data, and because MPD Payne is in the same office just a few feet away, in December 2022, it is logical to state he also saw that data. So you would think, if this is some of the most accurate AT&T data out there, they're going to use this to convict Mr. Koberger, right? No, they're not going to use it. They are going to use less accurate, more inferior CSLI data.
Did you see the request for advanced timing reports?
I did. It's in both search warrants. I have not seen any timing data in this case.
In December of 2022, did AT&T have this advanced timing report?
They absolutely did.
Was it something that they could produce?
It absolutely was. Prior to May of 2023, only certain agencies were receiving this timing report, the FBI being one of them. State and local law enforcement would have to leverage these reports through federal agencies that had access to it.
So let's do a quick recap of where we are to date. We know AT&T timing data is some of the most accurate data out there. We know FBI Balance got that data in December 2022. We know, to date, Cy Ray has never seen any AT&T timing data on this case. Let that one sink in. I'm not done yet. We know, as we just saw, Cy Ray claims Mr. Koberger's timing advance report contains exculpatory evidence that will corroborate his alibi. And just as a formality, before we move forward, for those who don't know, most of us do, the word exculpatory is evidence that tends to clear from guilt. So you might be getting a better sense of what made Psy launch off that nuclear affidavit. It defies logic, but even more intriguing again, what is the state trying to hide here? The fact of the matter is we do not know what the future holds for these AT&T timing advance records. So without further ado, I'm going to let you marinate in some of the hot takes from Psy Ray. I told you he came in hot, he came in extra hot, and poor Miss Jennings, he went for her throat and took her all the way out. Please read the full affidavit for the entire context. Here we go. Quote, in my nearly 30 years of working with and for prosecutors all over the United States, I have never witnessed such a deliberate attempt by prosecutors to mislead the court on evidence in such plain sight. Quote, Mr. Koberger's AT&T timing advance report, depending on how far back it goes, will contain exculpatory evidence that will partially corroborate Mr. Koberger's alibi. Quote, the current action by the state of Idaho is a deliberate misrepresentation to the court to further conceal false statements used to obtain probable cause against Mr. Koberger and also conceal exculpatory evidence from discovery.